Welcome to the second part of our Talakayang Financial program this afternoon. So now that we are now familiar with the features of our NGC banknotes and coins, let us now learn the ways to properly manage our finances. This afternoon, we will be discussing about personal financial management. And our topics covered are saving and budgeting, debt management, basics of investing, fraud and scams, and consumer protection. So please bear with me for the next hour. This might seem a long but interesting topics, and we hope that you learn something from it after our lecture. So for the past years, the BSP, through its Economic and Financial Learning Center, have continuously conducted various public information campaigns as part of our core program on financial education. Financial education is defined as the process of systematic instruction to increase financial literacy and capability. Whereas financial literacy is the level of knowledge about financial concepts and principles, and financial capability is the application of financial literacy in financial decision making. In 2019, the BSP conducted a financial inclusion survey to gauge the financial literacy of Filipinos, and it yielded the following results. Only 55% know the effect of inflation on purchasing power of households. Only 33% correctly answered questions on interest rate, and 33% have no idea compounding interest. In 2007, the BSP became the first central bank in the world to have an office dedicated to financial inclusion. This is in recognition of the importance of financial inclusion and its ability to uplift not only the welfare of many Filipinos, but also its significance to overall economy of the country. With the signing of Republic Act number 11-211 on February 14, 2019, amending the BSP's charter, financial inclusion and its complementary objectives of financial literacy and consumer protection became a mandate for the BSP. The amended charter states, in the attainment of its objectives, the Bangko Sentral shall promote broad and convenient access to high-quality financial services and consider the interest of the general public. So this is what financial education supports: the inclusive development of Filipinos to become better informed public, better decision-making public, better savings, assets and use of credit, and better economic and financial well-being. So let's start with our first topic on saving. Why do we need to save? We save to ensure that you're always prepared for life events, such as our emergency funds, education of our children, saving goals, business interests, and our retirement fund. So I think this is all our end goal, yung retirement fund. So it is very important for us to have our savings. Then how do we save? There are 3 steps to saving. Step 1 is to make a financial plan. And step 2 is to prioritize saving. And step 3 is keeping your expenses low. Just like our physical health, pupunta tayo sa doktor or have our physical checkups, our financial health also needs checkups, and that is in the form of financial planning. So financial planning is defined as the comprehensive evaluation of an individual's or household's current and future financial state to predict and manage future cash flows, expenditures, and asset values. So why do we need to make a financial plan? There are 6 reasons why do we have to make a financial plan? Number one, financial plans gives us control over our spending. It lets us know that our financial situation, and it enables us to control our spending. Number two is security from risk. A financial plan enables you to build up your emergency fund to cope with unforeseen expenses such as sickness or unexpected job loss. Third is freedom from worry. You get a sense of financial security because you are preparing for the future. Fourth is sustainability of lifestyle. A financial plan allows you to prepare for retirement. A retirement fund that will help you live comfortably even when you are no longer earning in your incomes. Ito yung number 5, yung pinaka-importante. Freedom from debt. Lahat tayo gusto malibre sa utang. We want to retire from our respective careers that is free of debt so that we may be able to enjoy our retirement benefits. So, ito yung financial plan enables you to avoid unnecessary debt due to unnecessary wants. And last is, when you have your financial plan, you will be able to realize your dreams. A financial plan motivates you to save a portion of your income and help you realize your dreams. There are 3 characteristics of financial goals. Number 1 is be realistic. In short, makatotohanan, something that is achievable. Then be specific. Be decisive. Decide on what you really want in your life. Then set a time frame. It should be time bound. Your financial goal financial goals are something that you can achieve over a certain period of time. So these are the 3 characteristics of financial goals. So to have a better idea or picture of your goals, we have some sample exercises. In our talk today, we will just be giving you 2 types of exercise: the visioning exercise and the budget plan exercise. So in visioning exercise, there are about 3 to 4 steps. Step 1, visualize. What do you want to achieve after 10 years? Visualize your goals and your dreams. Ano nga ba gusto mo in 10 years' time? What do you want in 5 years' time? So, di ba we were told, ever since we were young, we were always told to dream big. However, as we grow up, we realize that all dreams have financial costs. So to be able to achieve your dreams, you have to plan and prepare for it. So you have to be specific with your goals. Step 2, write your name and estimated amount of saving goals. And step 3, put a dream board somewhere conspicuous sa isang lugar that's conspicuous in your office and your homes. Kasi di ba sabi na, the more you see it, the more you attract it. So pin or tape your drawing and your dream board. So every day you will be reminded that this is my goal. This is my financial goal. So that is those are the 3 steps for our visioning exercise. The second type of exercise is a financial planning exercise. So create a monthly budget plan. Step 1, list down your saving goals based on the visioning exercise. So for example, on the screen, you can see tuition fee. Sample saving goal mo for the next 4 months, tuition fee ng anak mo. Then you have a target amount of 4,000. Create a budget plan. Ilagay mo how many months to save to achieve the target amount of 4,000. Then decide how much, magkano sa income mo ang kaya mong i-separate or set aside to be able to achieve this target amount. So on the screen, you can see it's 1,000. So if you are disciplined on making on achieving this budget plan, in 4 months, you can actually get your target amount of 4,000 for the tuition fee of your child. Then step 2 for the monthly budget plan is to list down all sources of income and expenses. All kinds of income, whether you're from your salary, from your business, part-time jobs, online selling, any sources of income, you write it down. Then also put on the deductions, list down the deductions on your total income. Siyempre, kung nagtatrabaho tayo, we have our monthly deductions from the tax, GSIS, PhilHealth, monthly amortization if you have loans. Then that is deducted from our gross income, and that becomes the end amount is our net income. Then from the net income, you list again your expenses, your basic needs, your debts, and other expenses. So from the net income less your total expenses, you can see your potential savings. Step 3 is to review your budget and see what you can add to your income and subtract from your expenses. You can compute for your potential savings. So from the potential savings, from step 2, less the target savings goal from step 1. So for example, from the step 2, the potential savings that you have is 6,000. Less the total target savings goal from step 1, which is 4,000, then you have the savings capacity of 2,000. Remember, savings capacity should be positive. Then step 4, write your action plan to reach your goal. What will you do to reach your goal and execute your plan? So this is the financial planning cycle. There are 5 questions in the financial cycle. First is you assess your situation. What is your situation? Assess your current financial situation, list sources of your income, your expenses, your borrowings, your needs versus wants. Then number 2, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? Ano yung mga goals mo sa life? Savings goals, investment goals, or your retirement goals? Then number 3, what must I do to achieve it? Ways to achieve it is to reduce your expenses, increase your income, invest wisely. Then number 4, ask yourself, am I doing it? Number 5, you have to review what changes do I need to make. Kasi there are times that the financial plans that we have might not be in accordance with the current situation. There might be changes in our goal. So it's very important to review and assess your financial plan time to time. So this is the financial planning cycle. Question number 2 for step 2, how to save. Step 2 is to prioritize saving. Before, what we know, yung ating nalalaman na saving formula is income minus expenses equals savings. But the correct formula should be income minus savings equals your expenses. So did you know, trivia lang po tayo, did you know that 4 out of 10 Filipino adults save? So here are some reasons that was listed dun sa isang survey na ginawa ng BSP on why people don't save. Number 1 is the limited knowledge and capability. This is why we are doing this seminar to address the gap. We need to strengthen our financial literacy and financial capability. Number 2 is lack of money. Ito yung pinakamaraming sagot doon sa survey. But given our exercises, we may realize that it's not really the lack of money that is the problem, but it's the mismanagement of money. Hence, parati tayong nagsasabi, wala tayong pera to save. The number 3 is the distance of the bank. So this reason is really applicable, especially for rural areas or hard to reach islands where access to banks are limited. But slowly naman, the banks are already expanding. So that is to be of a service also to the general public. And number 4 is the failure to meet documentary requirements. Since we all know na usually marami talaga requirements when we open our savings account. But to address this, the BSP actually have this basic deposit account, which is or what we call the BDA. So significantly ni-reduce na yung documentary requirements for the general public so that they are able to have access to our financial institutions at a very minimum amount of 100 pesos and a maximum of 50,000. So marami na ring banks actually ngayon na nag-o-offer ng basic deposit accounts. So let us define what is saving and what is savings. Saving is the act of putting a part of your income for a specific purpose and for future use. While savings is the amount that you set aside. Saving is the discipline of regularly setting aside a portion of one's income for future use. So it's a discipline. Saving is a discipline. Question, why do we need to save? Savings becomes our cushion for emergencies. When we save, we are building a nest egg. Have savings, we are able to experience financial freedom. On the screen, you can see the different life cycle events. Kung makikita nyo, these are controllable events. You go to school, you graduate, you look for work, then you buy, for example, your first car or your house, build a home, build your family, then have children. These are events that we control, we have control over our lives. While there are life cycle events which are uncontrollable. Hence the importance of savings. We don't know when we are able to get sick. We don't know when calamity will strike. Accidents may happen. And ngayon, very, very hard to see in the social media, there are lots of that. So these are uncontrollable events. So kailangan meron kang perang naitabi for you to be able to get past through these life cycle events. So your emergency funds are used for medical, sudden unemployment, acts of nature, wellness, car concerns, or house repairs. So here are some tips for successful saving. Keep your expenses low. Keep your electricity low, water, food low than others. So this is about prioritizing your needs over wants. Develop that saving habit. So saving is life. Magiging mantra. Gawing mantra natin araw-araw. Saving is life. Saving is life. Saving is life. Prioritize needs over wants. Needs or essentials or necessities. Something that we all need to be able to survive. Whereas wants, cravings, ravings, and desires, these are things that we can delay, or it doesn't really, we don't really need it to survive in our daily lives. Then follow the saving formula. Income minus savings equals expenses. So question, where to save? Saan pwede mag-save ng pera? Number one is the bank. So here are some bank saving products that is available in all our banks. We have basic deposit account, your regular savings account, the time deposit, and the check deposit. So question again, why do we have to save in banks? Number one, for the reason of liquidity. We have our ATMs. It is easy to access. It's accessible and available whenever we need them. That is through ATMs or over-the-counter withdrawal. Safety. Your savings are guaranteed and insured up to 500,000 pesos by PDIC. So nakalagay yan usually sa mga counters ng tellers. Your deposit is insured by the PDIC. So it's safe. The banks keeps our money safe from crime, such as theft or robbery, and from acts of nature. If you remember kanina yung mutilated banknotes, so if it's just lying around in our house, we are subjecting it to termites, animal attacks, fires, flood, or any other calamities. So better to save in banks kasi mas safe siya. Then security. Money is kept in our vaults, guarded by security personnel, and equipped with advanced security features. We have our bank records, digital and on paper, are safeguarded. And the last is the interest. Savings can earn interest over time. So ito yung compounded interest as shown on the screen. So if you have your principal, year 1, 5,000, your yearly interest, for example, is 100. So your year-end balance becomes 5,100. So you're making your money work for you. So there are also other options where to save. We have savings and credit cooperatives, savings and loan associations, self-help groups or the paluwagan, and we have non-financial assets such as our jewelries, your gadgets, yung mga lupa nyo. Those are some forms of non-financial assets. So even livestock, land. So those are form of non-financial assets where you can put your money into good use. So when do we save? When to save? The answer is now. N-O-W. We have to start now, motivate ourselves, and persevere. Then we go to our next topic on budgeting. What is a budget? A budget is telling you telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So para siyang mapa. It gives you direction. Budgeting is also a process of an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified period of time. Why is there a need to budget? Budgeting allows you to focus on important financial goals. It also let you see warning signs of potential financial troubles and helps you prepare and mitigate them in advance. When preparing a budget, there are 3 components. Your income, this refers to your allowance, your salary, your business income. Then we have your expenses, fixed and variable, and your net income and your net expenses. So why do we do budgeting? First of all, budgeting is a reality check. It organizes your income, spending, and savings. It gives you a real picture of your financial status. Given that you have a clear view of this, it gives you also an early warning for potential problems. Whether to adjust or cut back from your budget So nakikita mo na when you have your budget. Then you're able to focus on your money goals. And it facilitates your decision making. How to budget? First is to organize your income sources and expenses. Prioritize your financial goals. Focus on budget implementation. Monitor for changes in financial status and goals, and revise. So I've said kanina earlier, you always have to review and assess your budget plans. Kasi there are certain events in our lives na baka hindi na naaayon dun sa prepare nating budget. So we have to assess, we have to revise and monitor always. So here are some budgeting techniques. Reverse budgeting, that is setting aside your saving goal and spending the rest however you please. So ito yung income minus saving equals your expenses. But remember, you use whatever is left for the expenses, you have to spend it wisely. Hindi yung ubos biyaya yung ating pera. So you have to always keep in mind that you have to save for future use. Then we have the budgeting technique or the balanced budgeting, like the 50-30-20 rule. 50% is set aside for your needs, 30% for your wants, or 20% and 20% for your savings. Or it depends upon your financial status. Pwedeng mabaliktad, 30% yung savings mo, 20% lang yung wants, and the 50% to your needs. And we have the envelope budgeting. So literal siyang envelope budgeting. You put your money in your envelopes and setting it aside for certain category like clothing, emergency, Christmas, rent, savings, auto repair, utility expenses. So you put it in an envelope, literally envelope budgeting. So, syempre yung budgeting, it's really hard. So here are some challenges for budgeting. Too much effort is required. Since you really have to be tedious enough to list down all your expenses, your income, so tedious work siya. Kaya siya too much effort required. So these are challenges. Then, lack of family support. Sticking to your budget can be hard, especially if it requires cooperation from your housemates or family that are not on the same track of mind as you. Third is lack of motivation. Yung sa umpisa pa lang, okay, good. Yung mga, if you can see yung peso challenge, sa una, maayos. Parang ang dali lang. But when time goes on, nagiging mahirap na siya. That's why you really have to have that discipline and motivation to focus on your money goals. And temptations. Maraming sale, maraming online sale. Ngayon, especially with pandemic, very easy access on online shoppings. Online shops. With Shopee, Lazada, ano pa ba? These are all temptations. So, since we cannot go out, tendency natin masyadong mainit sa mata yung 7-7, 8-8, 9-9. So, palapit na actually yung 8-8. So, these are temptations to our budgets. No? Then, FOMO, fear of missing out. Yung takot ka na wala kang ganito. Nakita mo sa kaibigan mo, oh, she has the new iPhone. You also want it. So it's not within your budget. Kaya minsan nasa sidetrack yung budget. Just for us to be able to be fit siguro doon sa uso. Then yung uso sa millennials, YOLO, you only live once. So one time ano siya, big time. So nauubos, nasa sidetrack tayo when it comes to budgeting. But there are solutions to these challenges. You can use budgeting tools. We are already in very big help in technology. There are already applications that can be downloaded in our mobile phones, which help us to keep track of our income and our expenses. The number two, share your plans with your family. Dapat alam ng family mo ano yung goal ninyo as a whole, as one family, so that aligned lahat yung galaw nyo in your household. Alam nyo na kung paano i-lessen yung expenses sa electricity, so that you'll be able, alam ng anak nyo, alam ng asawa nyo, alam ng family members nyo what to do. So you have to share your plans with your family. Then keep your eyes on the prize. Visioning exercise, kaya siya pinapalagay sa dream board para alam nyo, nakikita nyo, this is, you are being reminded every day, this is my goal. And most of all, practice discipline. So disiplina ang pagbabudget. Then we also have digital solutions to these challenges. So I hope you're all familiar. Meron na tayo ngayong mga auto-debit arrangement. For example, sa loans nyo, so you are not to incur additional interest brought about delayed payments. Meron na ngayong auto-debit arrangement to pay your loans. Even our electronic bills payment. Meron na tayo ngayon kahit sa tubig, kuryente, we can already pay it in the comforts of our home. And this, ano siya, pwede mo siyang mabayaran prior to the due date, which hindi ka na, kumbaga, nagalikaw ka na nga maka-incur sang additional nga charges. Then we have electronic fund transfer also. So this electronic fund transfer can be done through e-payment services, which was launched by BSP, the PESONet, or the Philippine Electronic Fund Transfer and System Operations Network, and via InstaPay. So it's available in participating bank and non-bank financial institution. You don't need to go to the bank to actually deposit money from your account to another. In your mobile apps, pwede ka na. I can transfer fund from one bank, from bank A to bank B, for a minimal amount of, depending on the bank's charges. So yung InstaPay, when you transfer, it's from the word instant. So in matter of seconds, pwede nang matransfer sa kabilang account. Whereas PESONet, the transfer is being done at the end of the day. So very safe, especially now sa ating pandemic, that we are being restricted to go out. So you can use these e-payment services, which was launched by BSP. So remember, number one, avoid money worries by budgeting. Number two is to balance earning, saving, and spending. Number three is to commit to your budget plan. And number four, discipline is key to success. Then we go now to debt management. Ito, familiar tayo lahat. Familiar ba kayo sa Taga-London? Yun yung tawag, Taga-London. So here are the W's of borrowing. Let us define what is borrowing. Borrowing is the act of getting money from a lender of goods or goods from a supplier with a promise of future payback based on certain terms and conditions. Why do we borrow? There are some reasons. For emergency, for hospitalization, for business, for special purchases, or to get a good credit score. So ito yung mga reasons of borrowing. But before borrowing, here are some questions that you really need to ask yourself. Do I really need this? Kailangan ko ba talagang humiram? Must I have it today? Ay, nalaman ko humiram yung kapatid, yung katrabaho ko ngayon. Must I have it today? Kailangan ko rin ba mag-loan? Nagpa-compute ka. Your maximum loan amount is 100,000. but you only need about 20,000. You ask yourself, how much do I need? Do I really need the full amount of 100,000? Then ito yung pinaka-importante. Can I afford the loan amortization? For every loan that we meron siyang monthly amortization. It incurs interest. So ask yourself, with the income that you have, can I afford the loan amortization? Then can I manage my debt? Nag-loan ka dito, nag-loan ka doon sa isang another window, loan window. Can I still manage my debt? May matitira pa ba sa pera ko, sa income ko? So here are some factors to consider when borrowing. Maturity period and the interest rate and other charges. So where do we borrow? Where to borrow? We have financial institutions. We have savings and loans association. We have cooperatives. We have self-help groups. So here are some sources of credit. Belonging to the formal lenders are the lending companies, the banks, the cooperatives, even pawn shops. And the informal lenders, we have our relatives, our friends, and registered money lenders. So pwedeng sa 5-6, sa Bombay, yon, unregistered money lenders. So when borrowing, bear in mind the updated rules on truth and transparency in lending. These are the following informations that need to be disclosed. Number 1 is total amount to be financed. Iba yung gross amount, iba yung net amount. Then it should be disclosed to you. The finance charges expressed in terms of pesos and centavos. The net proceeds of the loan. Kasi baka yung naibigay sa'yo is the gross amount, then when receiving the approved amount, it's different. So since may mga finance charges usually when we borrow. And that the percentage that the finance charge bears to the total amount to be financed expressed as a simple annual rate or an effective annual interest rate, or the EIR. So here are some strategies in paying off debts. Debt stacking. List your loans based on the interest rate. Then prioritize paying loan with highest interest rate. The debt snowball, list loans based on outstanding balance or amount. And prioritize, ito yung sa snowball, pag nag-snowball. List loans based on outstanding balance or amount, and prioritize paying the loans with the smallest amount. So here are some strategies also, loan restructuring. So here are some tips to get out of debt. Stop borrowing and talk to your creditor. Adjust your spending and create or look for other income streams. So ngayon, very viable na yung online businesses. No? This pandemic, ito yung sinasabi na very resourceful ang Filipinos because despite the financial hard-ups that we are experiencing, we are still able to find ways to earn incomes through online selling and other means. So instead of keeping borrowing, you have to look for other income streams. So remember, you borrow only for productive activities. When you borrow, make sure that it goes to something important. Productive siya. Then number 2 is borrow only what you can afford to pay. Then last is pay on time and pay in full. Remember, as borrowers, ito yung ating responsibility to pay on time and to pay in full. Then we go to our next topic on investing. Investing is defined as the process of buying assets that increase in value over time with the goal of generating income or selling for a profit. So ito yung different. When we save, we are liquid, we are able to meet specific goals. While investing, we earn returns and we are able to build wealth. Sabi kanina sa survey, it's not the lack of money. Hindi siya reason. Kasi sabi nga, if you have your income, then you have your money. Kaya sabi ni Dave Ramsey, your most powerful wealth building tool is actually your income. You just have to manage it properly. So before you invest, you should know your risk profile. Are you a conservative investor or are you an aggressive investor? Kung conservative ka, you usually prefer low risk and with fixed returns na mga investment. While for aggressive, ito yung mga high returns, sometimes subject to risk of scams. Ito yung mga high risk. So before you invest, you have to know your risk profile. Assess yourself. Ano nga ba ako? Conservative, aggressive. So here are some investment options. Putting up your business, non-financial assets like livestock, real estate, jewelries. These are forms of investments and financial instruments. So meron yan mga pre-need, insurance. We also have UITFs in banks. These are offered by banks. So these are treasury bills. These are financial instruments. So investing tips. Number one, very important. Investigate before you invest. Study and fully understand your chosen investment. Investigate. Investigate, listed ba siya sa SEC? Registered ba siya sa DTI? Does it have business permits? So you have to investigate. Invest only an amount you can afford to lose. Investment returns are not guaranteed. Wag yung when you're presented with this kind, ang taas ng ang bilis ng return, ang malaking amount. Remember to invest only an amount that you can afford to lose. Then third, always remember the risk-return principle. The higher the return, the higher the risk. The lower the risk, the lower the return. Number four, invest over the medium to long term. So develop a long-term investment strategy. That's why you have to study first. Create a feasibility study if you want to invest on something. And dapat meron kang long-term, medium to long-term na plans on this. Then diversify, and the last is diversify your investments. Invest in instruments with varied risk profiles. So develop a sleep well portfolio. Actually, marami tayong ngayong financial managers. And this can actually help you diversify your investments. Meron yan, maybe in another session, we can have the pera, yung pera na investment that was launched also by BSP. This involves different kinds of risk investment profiles. So investment instruments pala. So these are some of our investing tips. Then we go to our second to the last topic, fraud and scam. So here are some of the common types of fraud. Uso ngayon ang fraud and scams, especially during this time of pandemic. Maraming nangyari. We have received a lot of complaints also here in BSP. So some of this are card replacement, card cloning, ATM skimming, ATM jackpotting. So these are unauthorized financial transactions made on a victim's account. Yung skimming, I think if you're familiar with this, yung may nilalagay sila na parang covering on the ATM machine, then it can get actually your PIN numbers. This is a type of ATM skimming. So ito yun, illegal installation of malicious hardware, camera, scanning device and copies card information. Camera captures PIN information, and jackpotting software gives hackers control over ATM functions. So this, very careful kita when it comes to sa ating also when we use the ATMs. So you have to be wary also yung sa paligid mo. This is merong mga incidents of ATM skimming and jackpotting which has been reported already in the media. So to protect yourself from skimming, make sure that your ATM card, debit card, credit card is equipped with an EMV chip. So yun, actually yun na ngayon yung ginagamit with our ATM cards. Then observe and remember the standard appearance of ATM machines and POS devices. If an ATM does not have a keypad shield, cover the keypad while entering your PIN. Withdraw only in trusted, well-lighted ATM locations. If uncomfortable, postpone your transaction or find a more secure location. If transacting with merchant using a POS device, keep an eye on your card and the cashier. And last is regularly check your account balance or billing statements and report unauthorized or suspicious transactions to your bank or credit card issuer immediately. So ito yung last, ito yung usual that we receive known as complaints here from the general public, which is being reported here sa BSP. So here are also some kinds of common modes of identity theft. Phishing, vishing, SMishing, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, or spoofing. So this is ito, very common lately, yung phishing emails. Kinakopy nila, it seems that it's a legit email from your banks or from certain companies, but you have to be vigilant on certain on the emails that they use. For example, like this on the screen, yan nakalagay, it came from Amazon.com. But the email, if you really have to scrutinize it, the Amazon Canada, it lacks the letter A in Amazon. So these are sample phishing emails. When you're able, kung mabigay, they aim to get your personal information, especially with banks. Never give out your PINs or any personal information. Kung hindi ka sure, call your banks and report any kinds of email that you receive from them. Kasi most likely, these are phishing emails. Then sample of SMishing or the SMS. So merong mga text that you receive that aims to extort money from you. Ito din, a spoof website. So kung makikita nyo on the screen, we have www.xyzpaypal.com, but the original or the legit PayPal URL or website is a secured website, which has this https www.paypal.com. So spoofed website. Usually, you can check hindi encrypted yung website. So when you encounter phishing or spoofing, verify with your bank by calling its hotline directly. Report the phishing and spoofing attempts to your bank immediately. Then safeguard your gadgets. You update security and antivirus features, download only legitimate banking apps and online shopping applications. Do not download and install suspicious software, files, and email attachments. Do not use jailbroken or rooted mobile phones or gadgets. So, nauso ito before, jailbreaking of our gadgets. And do not let other people use your gadgets. Secure your connectivity. Avoid using public computers and free Wi-Fi connection. You're being subjected kasi to a possible na hacking incidents. Set your Wi-Fi router to the highest security settings. Enable router firewall and encryption, and reduce your Wi-Fi signal range. Also, secure your online activity. Type the address or URL directly on the address bar. Make sure that the website is secure and legitimate. To know if it's secure, usually it has S at the end of the HTTP letters. Then clear your browsing history or cache regularly. Disable plugins and save passwords feature. Usually, sa mga online apps, meron tinatanong, do you want to save your password? So, just click the never. Wag never save your passwords there kasi pwede siyang ma-hack anytime. And always log out from websites and apps after every use. So how to protect your online transactions? Transact only with legitimate and trustworthy online vendors. Activate a two-step verification process or multi-factor authentication. Common na ito usually ngayon sa mga applications. There is they include verification processes, even to the point of ID taking, ID picture taking. So keep your transaction records and regularly review your transaction history. Enable text or email alerts for any activity on your accounts. Report suspicious account activity to your bank immediately. And do not share account and personal information such as account number, card number, full name, passwords, PIN, CVV. Yung CVV is the 3-digit yung sa likod ng credit card or debit cards, ATM cards. Meron dyan tatlong digits, I think. That is your CVV. So never give that out to anyone. So these are ways to protect your online transactions. And ngayon, we have, sa lahat naman ng transactions, especially with bank application, mobile apps ng mga banks, they are giving one-time PIN before proceeding with your online transactions. Then we go to the types of scams. Sabi ko kanina, this pandemic, maraming nangyaring scams. Text scams, unexpected scam, money scam, even romance scam. So sa mga single, beware of romance scams. Meron ding threat, extortion scam, donation scam, charity scam, travel trouble scam, job offer, unexpected price scam. Parating yan, nabibiktima si BSP at saka si DTI yung unexpected price scam. Nanalo ka daw. A certain amount, then all you have to do is to send a load to them. So yun yung mga price scams. Our agency names are always being used. So remember na wala kaming ini-issue'ng ganon yung BSP. So here are also scams during this pandemic. Money mules, SIM swap. Yung sasabihin na papalitan yung SIM. Then bogus online seller, agent, then advance fee. And here are some of the biggest investment scams. The Ponzi scam and the pyramid scam. So I guess familiar tayo sa Ponzi scam and pyramid scams that happen. When you say Ponzi scam, it focuses on cash investment and recruitment. It promises high interest or return on investment within a short period of time. Like quick money, double your money, yan yung Ponzi scams. Earns from cash investment paid by new recruits. Yan yung characteristics of a Ponzi scam. While pyramid scams, it has a focus on products naman and recruitment. Products have little or no real value, and members are compensated based on new recruits and downlines. So, ito yung mga characteristics ng investment scams. So protect yourself from investment scams. Number one, do not believe offers that are too good to be true, like double your money, no risk, returns guaranteed. Remember, when it's too good to be true, then it must not be true. Check if company is licensed by Securities and Exchange Commission. Report suspicious companies to SEC. Then verify if investment product is being sold is also licensed by SEC. Pag investment, it should have a secondary license. Pwede kasing mag-register with SEC. But the most important license is the secondary license issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you have encountered suspicious investment products, report it immediately to SEC. And our last topic is on financial consumer protection. As part of our financial inclusion, ito yung naging mandate na namin that has become our mandate to protect our consumers. So here are the financial consumer protection principles: disclosure and transparency, protection of client information, then effective recourse, and fair treatment. Disclosure and transparency. So BSFIs or BSP supervised financial institutions should provide transparent information and adequate disclosures about the features, the fees, benefits, and risk of their financial products and services. Consumer should be ensured that they have a reasonable, holistic understanding of the financial products and services they are availing. So a BSFI should always be transparent. Then protection of client information. Very important. BSFIs should ensure that information about consumers' account, financial transaction, and personal details are kept confidential and securely stored. Consumers provide informed consent for BSFIs to use their personal information only for purposes of account handling and related financial transaction. So ito yung mga kailangan. These are the regulations or safety nets given by BSP to our authorized agent banks or financial institutions under our jurisdiction to protect the client information. It should be kept confidential. Fair treatment. BSFIs ensure that consumers are treated fairly, honestly, and professionally at all stages of their banking or financial relationship. Consumers, regardless of their socio-economic status, have the right to be treated with dignity and respect by BSFIs. And effective recourse. BSFI should provide accessible, affordable, independent, fair, accountable, timely, and efficient means for resolving concerns or complaints of consumers. And consumers ensure that they know where to seek a resolution and redress in case of concerns, complaints, or abusive practices of BSFIs. So dapat you are aware of this. Usually, sinasabihan kayo ng bangko where to file your complaints. They have their respective consumer protection ng mga desk or customer service. But if you're, for example, if you have encountered problems with BSFIs, hindi siya ma-resolve within the banks, you can call, write, or email your bank or financial institution immediately. First, sa kanila, you file your complaint with them. Put your complaint in clear writing and document your actions and institution's responses. Kung hindi pa rin ma-resolve, hindi ka satisfied with the recourse given by the BSFIs, you may now proceed to BSP. You may elevate your complaint to Bangko Sentral. So step 1, you may email at consumeraffairs@bsp.gov.ph, or you can file the complaint at your nearest BSP branches. So for Rojas, we are located at Arnaldo Boulevard, Barangay Baybay, Rojas City. You can file your complaints here. Then BSP will we will elevate it to BSP Manila or our Consumer Affairs. And BSP will require the financial institution to act on your complaint. And some cases, it may be referred to other regulators, recommended for mediation or court resolution. So remember kanina sa isang slide ni Miss Karen's, merong mga institution that is not under our jurisdiction. So pwede namin i-refer to Insurance Commission, Securities and Exchange Commission, Cooperative Development Authorities, or the CDA, if it would merit na kailangan i-refer siya. And BSP has already become digital also. If you have concerns, mas madali, you can chat with our online buddy, si Bob. So you can find it in our Facebook or in our website. Flashing on your screen is the logo, yung parang logo ni Bob. Bob is known to be our BSP online. So pwede rin siya makita within our website. Just look for this parang robot na si Bob. So here are the financial institutions again under our supervision. So commercial banks, thrift banks, rural banks, MSBs, foreign exchange dealers, cooperative banks, and everything that's flashed on the screen. Ito yung under sa supervision namin. Whereas other institutions covered by the other regulators, so yung CDA, you have your savings and credit cooperatives. With the Department of Trade and Industry, you have manufacturers of consumer goods, Insurance Commission, the insurance companies, pre-need companies, mutual benefit associations, and cooperative insurance companies. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, we have the lending companies, finance companies, investment houses, security brokers, corporations, NGOs, and foundations. So for key takeaway, consumer protection is a shared responsibility. So this ends my presentation. You may follow us on social media. We have our Pisalit. You can follow us through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you, and thank you for bearing with me after a long talk. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.